What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I want to take a look at a heavyweight, a phenomenal heavyweight. I did his profile before, but it was in bits and pieces, and I got to do better justice to Floyd Patterson than that. So let's take a look at his career. I'm gonna go through the whole story of Floyd Patterson. Let's take a look at his career. Now, Floyd Patterson fought fighters such as Reuben Hurricane Jackson. And he fought him in the Polo Grounds July 29th, 1957 in New York. It was a 10-round bout. And the thing about this fight was Patterson. In fact, let me just show you right now before I even get into this. I'm gonna get right back to this. I wanna explain something to you about this Reuben Hurricane Carter fight with Floyd Patterson. Let me just show you one point. Now, like I said, I did this before, but I'm going over Floyd Patterson's career because I want people to understand the quality of a fighter that Floyd Patterson was. Now, here we have in the heavyweight division, which is over 175 pounds, the world championship was vacant. Why it was vacant? Because Rocky Marciano relinquished his title in 1955. 1955, he had a fight with Archie Moore. He defeated Archie Moore in 9 rounds, and then he hung up the gloves in 1954. So Archie Moore had a fight with Yolande Pompey. I'm going to show you that fight. And he was talked about, hanging up his light heavyweight championship at that point in time. Archie Moore wound up fighting one more time, or defending his title one more time. But it was talk at this particular time against Archie Moore hanging up his gloves. So they slid Archie Moore in the number 1 rankings at this point in time. And I'm going to tell you the reason why that happened. Now, Tommy Hurricane Jackson, Far Rockaway, New York, was ranked number 2. All right. And he was upset because he was supposed to be ranked number 1. Bob Baker number 3. Floyd Patterson was number 4. Johnny Holman was number 5. All Dynamite fighters here. Johnny Sullivan and Willie Pastrana, Harold Carter, Bob Satterfield, Eddie Machen. But Tommy Hurricane Jackson was supposed to be ranked number 1. And as you can see here, Floyd Patterson was number 4. Archie Moore was number 1. So let me take it back and I'm going to explain why I showed you this in a moment. Now, as I said, in 1955, which was actually September 21st, 1955, Rocky Marciano has stopped Archie Moore in the 9th round. Okay? And once that happened, Rocky Marciano, and I showed you the top 10 for a reason, Rocky Marciano decided to hang up the gloves. Now, when he hung up the gloves, he sat down with a promoter. I'm going to show you who the promoter was. And they handpicked who they wanted to be in the rank number 1 and rank number 2 position. And once that happened, it caused a lot of problems because, like I showed you, the fighter that was ranked number 1 was Reuben Hurricane Carter. And they removed Reuben Hurricane Carter and placed Archie Moore in the number 1 heavyweight slot. Now, Archie Moore defeats Yolande Pompey in London. And after this fight, I want you to see this. Moore consoles Yolande after falls of Pompey. Winner and still champ Archie Moore. To the right, that's Archie Moore. And here you have Yolande Pompey, who is the challenger to your left. All right, after knocking him out in London last night. Now here, the vacant big title. This is after Rocky Marciano vacated the title after he defeated Archie Moore in 1955. London, June 6. Archie Moore today brushes aside all questions about another title defense of his light heavyweight championship and said, quote, "I'm the best heavyweight in the world, and that's the title I am after." Okay? Now, cagey old fellow from San Diego cleared his last hurdle on the way to the crown vacated by Rocky Marciano in a 10th round TKO of Yolande Pompey of Trinidad in a light heavyweight title fight in London's Harrington Gate Arena, last night. Now, here's the deal. Jim Norris was affiliated with the mob. All right? Frankie Carbo and others. Rocky Marciano and Jim Norris got along very well. Rocky Marciano was considering coming back. Now, remember I told you before, that's why I tell you, history repeats itself. A lot of times you have to let a man, if you're that type of person, that's the only thing I can tell you, let a man fight himself out of a fight, which means that you step to the side, as Michael Spinks did. When Mike Tyson comes into a tournament that he was not in when you first signed to fight in that tournament. And then you create stipulations where you can step out of the tournament if you decide to do so, because you want to see what happens along route to the tournament. As Mike Tyson was defeating all his fighters in that tournament, Spinks stepped out. Well, Rocky Marciano retired. In contingency, he stepped to the side and he handpicked along with Jim Norris. I have all the receipts. Ain't nobody coming behind me with none of that. I know exactly what happened. Spoke to too many old-time fighters. And Archie Moore was placed number 1 ahead of Rubin Hurricane Carter. This is what happened. Floyd Patterson, I showed you, was ranked number 4. He was placed number 2, Here you have. Patterson says he'll beat Jackson and Moore because Hurricane Carter was making a lot of noise at this point. What's going on? Nope, we can't do that. And he was very upset. And this is all our underground stuff here. Monticello, New York, June 6th. As a young Floyd Patterson finishes training here today, he predicted confidently he would not only beat Tommy Hurricane Jackson Friday night, but also Archie Moore later. Okay? So let's get back to Floyd Patterson's profile here. So matchmaker Teddy Brenner. Teddy Brenner was a very good matchmaker at those days at the Garden and in New York. And he made it happen. Patterson had to fight Jackson. July 29, 1957, Patterson wound up defeating Hurricane Jackson. So Jackson did get his shot. Referee was Ruby Goldstein. And the fight was stopped at 1 minute and 52 seconds of the 10th round. Patterson winning by technical knockout, TKO. This was over Hurricane Jackson. Okay, I just want to clear these up as we move along. You can see here Patterson, Pete Redemaker, August 22nd, 1957. The Stick Stadium, Seattle, Washington. 6 rounds. They sparred for several seconds before Rademacher landed a right to the face. Patterson hooked a left to the face. Patterson hooked another left to the face. Pete blinked. Once a fighter blinks, he's hurt. That's the first sign. That's why you watch him very closely on the inside. Patterson versus Roy Harris. August 18th, 1958. Wrigley Field, Los Angeles, California. That's where the Dodgers plays. I just want to give you a overview. It's Floyd Patterson here. Floyd Patterson and Ingemar Johansson, their first fight. Date, June 26, 1959. They fought in Yankee Stadium, New York. Scheduled distance, 15 rounds. Official attendance, 18,215 ticket sales. Official growth, $470,717.77. Federal taxes, $40,067. State taxes, $23,505. Johansson's share, including TV rights, $281,426.95. Patterson's, including TV rights, his share was $622,741.93. Amazing. Salute to Floyd Patterson. Promoted by Bill Roderson, the Enterprise Incorporation. Let's take a look at something else here. Floyd Patterson versus Ingemar Johansson, their second fight. Date, June 20th, 1960. Place, Polo Grounds, New York. That's the one I just showed you, New York. That's on 155th Street, right off of Edgecombe, in Manhattan. Scheduled distance, that's where the Giants used to play. That's their stadium. Scheduled distance, 15 rounds. Attendance, 31,892 ticket sales. Total attendance, 46,892 estimated. Gross gate, 824,814. Okay, that's the gross gate. Movie rights, $200,000. Radio rights, $170,000. Foreign TV and radio, $80,000. Theater, TV, 229 theaters. That's a lot. Awesome. Attendance, 484,894. Gross receipts, 2,251,162. That's the gross receipts. Net receipts, 2,021,752. That's 50% of the theater owners of remaining 50%. Okay. Home television, $23,500, limited to pay TV test areas. Patterson share 50%. Wow, 50%. Okay, so that's the second fight, which means that Patterson. Okay, so Johansson was the champion. He still got 50%. Amazing. $400,400. $400,400. 350. Patterson share of gate, $177,482. Patterson's share of movie and radio, $189,400. Johansson's share, 35%. Okay, I see what happened. 283. That's what I was confused about. $1,045. Johansson's share of gate, $177,482. His movie was $132,580. Johansson owns complete radio and movie rights. Estimate at $50,000. I was always confused about that. I got it now. Floyd Patterson versus Johansson, the third fight. The date, March 13th, 1961. Place, Convention Hall, Miami Beach, Florida. Scheduled distance, 15 rounds. Attendance, 13,984. Gross gate, $502,000. Movie and radio rights, $750,000. Theater TV, 209 theaters. Theater TV attendance, 415,111. Theater TV, $2,500,000. Gross receipts, $2,544,061. Wow, fascinating. Patterson's total purse was $832,500. Johansson's total purse was $650,500. Promoted by Feature Sports Incorporated. Patterson, Archie Moore, I'm curious. Their fight. They fought November 30th, 1956. The place, Chicago Stadium, Chicago, Illinois. Scheduled distance, 15 rounds. Official attendance, 16,248. Official gross receipts, $228,145. Net gross receipts, $180,858. Television and radio receipts, $200,000. Official total receipts, $380,858. Moore's share was 35%. $118,350. Moore's share, Patterson's share, 25%. Wow. $80,000, $214,050. Promoted by International Boxing Club. That's the IBC. Jim Norris. And, this goes on and on and on. Patterson and Liston fight. Date September 25th, 1962. Place Comiskey Park, Chicago. That was in Illinois. Scheduled distance, 15 rounds. Official attendance, 18,894. Official gross, 665,420. Net receipts, 556,195. Patterson share 45%, 250,253. Liston share 12.5%. Wow. I'm just looking at something real fast. 69,515. Liston was definitely shafted on this one. No question about it. Not so much of Patterson, but of his cut. This is crazy. Promoter share 42. That's what happened. 42.5%. 236,351. Theater TV, $2 million. Promoted by Championship Sports. Last one. Patterson Liston, the second fight. Now, Patterson was no longer the champion. And he's trying to get his title back. Because Liston already knocked out Patterson in the first round to get the title from him. Date July 22nd, 1963. I'm curious to see what Patterson earned. This is in Convention Center, Las Vegas, Nevada. Scheduled distance, 15 rounds. Official attendance, 6,689. Official gross, 247,690. Liston share of the gate, 30%. This is what I'm talking about. 76,000. Patterson's share of gate, 30%. 76,000. And this is what I wanted to see, because, see, Liston was champion at this time. And he split 30%, $76,000 with Patterson. Amazing. Patterson's share of the gate, 30%. So the TV gross gate was $4,500,000. Liston's share of the television was $1,358,000, 30%. Patterson's share of TV, $1,358,000, 30%. So they split that even down the middle. Patterson was he was a contender. And Liston was the champion. So you know where the rest of that money went. Liston's total purse, $1,434,000. Patterson's total purse, $1,434,000. Even split. Unbelievable. This is what went on back then. This is crazy. Floyd Patterson's ring earnings. Just look down and see what he earned. At the year of 1958, Patterson stopped Roy Harris at the end of the 12th round at Wrigley Field in Los Angeles, California, August 18th. Let's see what happened later on that year as well. Archie Moore was the light heavyweight champion, knocked out Yvonne Durrell in 11 rounds at the Forum, Montreal, Canada. That was in December 10th. Ray Robinson, middleweight champion, won the title for the fifth time by outpointing Carmen Basilio over 15 rounds in Chicago Stadium. Illinois on March 25th. Virgil Akins was the welterweight champion, and he fought for the vacant world title by stopping Vince Martinez. That's when the tournament started in the welterweight division after Ray Robinson, well, not Ray Robinson, but they had a tournament, and Carmen Basilio moved up to face Ray Robinson, so that belt became vacant. All right, let's take a look at some of those fights in Floyd Patterson's scrapbook. Now here you have Floyd Patterson. He was a light heavyweight contender. Okay, he wasn't the heavyweight. He was a light heavyweight contender. Here you have Rubin Hurricane Carter, who was a heavyweight at the time. Now I showed you that's Carter, and this is Patterson. All right, let's go over here. I'm gonna show you right now. We're gonna go right back to this. Now Floyd Patterson was ranked number 4, but he was a light heavyweight at the time. Tommy Jackson, Rubin Hurricane Jackson. I hope I haven't been saying Rubin Hurricane Carter all that time. And Rubin, I've been saying Rubin all this time. It's Tommy Hurricane Jackson. Dismiss everything I said about Jackson. It's Tommy Hurricane Jackson. I can't believe that. And I'm not doing this video over. So Tommy Hurricane Jackson, unbelievable, from Far Rockaway, New York. I have Rubin Hurricane Carter on my mind for some reason. All right, so it's Tommy Hurricane Jackson. That's what I've been trying to say the entire video. I'm 21 minutes in and I'm not starting over again. You just have to excuse me. So Tommy Hurricane Jackson, amazing, was ranked number 2. He should have been ranked number 1. Archie Moore was a light heavyweight as well. He wasn't ranked yet, and he shouldn't have been ranked in the heavyweight. If anything, he should have been ranked from 5 on down to 10. So they placed him number 1. And Floyd Patterson was a contender in the light heavyweight division. And he was not champion of light heavyweight. And they placed him number 4. So I just want to show you that. So Tommy Hurricane Jackson should have been number 1. So finally, Teddy Brenner, who was the promoter, made it happen, and the fight came off. So this is where we are right now. Tommy Hurricane Jackson, unbelievable. I've been saying Rubin Hurricane the whole time. Here you have Tommy Hurricane Jackson. That was an outstanding fight. Phenomenal fight. And I just want to go over this. Patterson wins split decision over Tommy Hurricane Jackson in a bruising bout. New York, young Floyd Patterson of Brooklyn won a split 12-round decision over Tommy Hurricane Jackson in Far Rockaway, New York. That's in Queens. Friday night, in a magnificent battle. It's an outstanding fight. I have the reel-to-reel. It's a dynamite fight. Featured by Patterson. Despite disagreement among the ring official promoter, Jim Norris. Jim Norris was the promoter for that fight. Patterson fractured his 4th knuckle, which is the 4th metacarpal, on his right hand after the 6th round and will be out of action for 6 weeks, according to Dr. Alexander Schiff. He was the fight doctor. Norris announces he would try to match Patterson and Moore in September and have the bout approved for the vacant world title. Well, the person who would approve it would be Archie Moore. I'm sorry, Rocky Marciano. And here you have Hurricane Jackson standing up in a white, Patterson decked. And Patterson falls face first towards the canvas. Floyd fights to maintain his balance. They're saying it wasn't a knockdown. Used left glove to spring him erect, which means it was a knockdown. That wasn't a knockdown. Was it, ref? Closest thing to a knockdown in last night's fights between Floyd Patterson and Hurricane Jackson. Combined was a push and a slip, sent Patterson downwards or towards the deck in the 5th round. And they call this a costly victory because Patterson was out for more than 6 weeks. As you can see here, this is the fourth metacarpal split in the right hand of Floyd Patterson. It's a complete break. That was the x-ray that was shown. Patterson defeated Hurricane Jackson. A wide margin, but his broken hand could mean a costly victory. And here you see Floyd Patterson, Tommy Hurricane Jackson. That was a very good left hook by Floyd Patterson. Floyd Patterson and Tommy Hurricane Jackson. And you can see the sling on the fourth metacarpal of Floyd Patterson's right hand. So he was scheduled out for 6 weeks. He was out a little longer. His plans for September title fight with Archie Moore. It's a big if. Not guaranteed to happen at that point. So finally, they make the Floyd Patterson versus Archie Moore fight. Why Moore will be next heavyweight champion, they go on to explain. Here's the tail of the tape of Moore and Patterson. Moore was 40 years old at the time. Patterson was 21. Moore stood 5'11" 3/4 inches. Patterson stood 6 feet. Moore weighed 188 pounds. Patterson weighed 180 pounds. Moore had a 78-inch reach. Patterson had a 71-inch reach. Now here, Archie Moore, he's always lied about his age, where he lived, where he was born. December 13th, 1916, Archie Moore's mother records show his birthday was December 13th, 1916. A difference of 3 years. They have him listed as December 13th, 1913. Amazing. And once again, this is Floyd Patterson on a sling right before he got it on with Archie Moore. This happened in the Tommy Hurricane Jackson fight. 6th round. He broke his hand, but he continued. So we already went over the Archie Moore versus Floyd Patterson tail of the tape. Now, this was the injury. Rocky Marciano stepped out of boxing. You see here Rocky Marciano, who retired as undefeated world heavyweight champion, is comforted by wife Barbara as he answers his phone and discusses freak injury, which laid him low. Rocky suffered a slipped spinal disc. Patterson favored and switch of odds. Tip scaled at 182.25 for Moore. You have Floyd Patterson and Archie Moore. You got Archie Moore flat on his stomach. Floyd Patterson over Archie Moore. Let me just quickly get back to some images of Tommy Hurricane Jackson and Floyd Patterson. I feel like I owe you that when I've been calling this man Reuben Hurricane. I don't know if I said Jackson or Carter. I don't know what I was saying earlier. And these are the two wives. So we're back to Archie Moore and Floyd Patterson. And Archie Moore is consulted by Floyd Patterson. Like I say, Floyd Patterson was a phenomenal fighter. I mean, he just was. The problem I always had with Floyd Patterson was not Floyd Patterson's fault. It was just his body wasn't designed to take a heavyweight punch. It just wasn't. I mean, if you look at a lot of guys, look at Bob Satterfield. Bob Satterfield was really a light heavyweight / cruiser. And he was up there against guys like Bob Baker, Nino Valdez, Clarence Henry, Johnny Holman, Keen Simmons. You know, these kind of guys, it's Willie Beam, Willie James. You can't fight guys like that consistently. Like Bob Foster, he tried to fight Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. He got starched. It can be done, but you're not going to sustain it. You need more recovery time, and your head can only take so many blows in your career. Patterson's youngest champ in history. He was 21 years old when he defeated Archie Moore for the vacated heavyweight championship that was relinquished by Rocky Marciano. And I'm proud of Floyd Patterson for doing that. Salute to him. Like I said, Floyd Patterson was an underrated fighter. You don't hear about him today at all. And it's a shame. It's just, you know, you got to keep pushing the narrative. There was a lot of great fighters out there, you know. And if you don't push the narrative, a lot of the new generation is not going to know about them. Patterson won the Olympic Games. 56. This is Helsinki. Let's get back to Patterson and Jackson a little bit more. This is when Patterson was going to fight Jackson. Like I said, Tommy Hurricane Jackson was a phenomenal fighter. He just came along at a time when Floyd Patterson was around. It is what it is. He was KO'd in this particular fight. Patterson won the 5-pick and heavy title bout. The champ at 184, full 192 and a half. Hurricane proves pitifully heroic in one-sided match. This is New York, July 30th. Tommy Kane Jackson. There is no future anymore. not for a challenge of the heavyweight championship. Ruby Goldstein was the referee for that fight. And it was a good fight. Floyd Patterson's next opponent was Roy Harris, heavyweight challenger. It was advertised, the student versus the professor. Patterson and Roy Harris. RKO 86th Street Theater. See, these fights at that time, I was fortunate enough, I have 4 fights, reel-to-reels, from the actual RKO movie theater. When Joe Louis was fighting at the RKO, there used to be lines around the block twice, because that's how you could see Joe Louis. They used to have the films the next day after the fight at the RKO. And they had it up until the 60s. And you can see here, RKO 86th Street Theater, where you can see this fight between Floyd Patterson and Roy Harris. And I have 4 of those original reel-to-reels. See, Patterson and Harris mix it up for the championship. And this is their tail of the tape. Patterson was 23. Harris was 25. Patterson 187. Harris was 192. Patterson 6 foot. Harris was 6 foot. Patterson had a 71-inch reach. Harris had a 73-inch reach. That was their tail of the tape. This is round by round fight coverage. I'm just going to show you some illustrations of it. Patterson stops Harris in the 12th round. So Roy Harris was actually stopped in the 12th round by this Patterson and Harris fight. Now Harris had Patterson down, and this is what I was telling you. He's been down with a lot of opponents. Couldn't take a heavyweight's punch, and that's why he couldn't continue. And it was suicide to put him in there with Sonny Liston. Because see, once he got knocked out by Ingemar Johansson, then that tells you what the problem he was going to have with Liston. It's the Herald Express newspaper, Tuesday, August 19, 1958. And you can see Harris going down with a cut over his left eye from Patterson. There's so many illustrations of Patterson, I can't show you everything. I'll give you another 3 minutes. Let me just go on to some more fights. Like I say, this whole book here is Floyd Patterson. I have 2 books with Floyd Patterson. This is, show you the thickness of the books. This is all Floyd Patterson. You get Patterson and Roy Harris. Roy Harris had a cut over his left eye. And they got to a point where Ruby Goldstein said, "That's it. Enough." Stops the fight. Now, Patterson needed an opponent. You had Eddie Machen. You had Ingemar Johansson. And Ingemar Johansson from Sweden. He'd been knocking out all his opponents. This is him against Eddie Machen. So that made Ingemar Johansson Floyd Patterson's next opponent. And boxing was at uproar because they didn't expect this to happen. Ingemar Johansson, he was in the Olympic Games. You had Ed Sanders was the heavyweight for the United States. And Charles Liston was in the Nationals. But Johansson was part of them games as well, along with Floyd Patterson. Helsinki Games in 56. And they didn't think that Johansson would wind up getting a title shot. Brian London. You had a fighter here by the name of Zara Foley. Very good fighter. He fought Muhammad Ali. Very good fighter was Zara Foley. There was a lot of names mentioned. I'll show you a young Willie Pastrano. Willie Pastrano, he was being mentioned as well. He was from New Orleans. So basically, Floyd Patterson, I'm going to just cut this video short. Floyd Patterson was a very, very good fighter. He was underestimated. And this whole book is Floyd Patterson as well. And he was just, he just came around at a time where it's more round by round, blow by blow, some of these fights. Show you real quickly. This is Patterson and Brian London. London certainly was champ, cup of tea. My dad cut all of these clippings out. We used to paste all of these after we came back from the gym. Thursdays and Saturdays. That was our day together that we would do this. We'd spend probably about 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours, those 2 days just doing this. I remember him doing a lot of Floyd Patterson stuff. And it was just something, that it was a bond between us. And I told him, I said, I'll continue. And he passed now, and I miss him every day. And this is just my way of getting past that, My dad was basically what I had, So this is Patterson and Brian London. They were both 24 years old at the time. Floyd was a 10-1 favorite for that title tune-up. They considered it a tune-up. So there you have it. I'm just show you a little bit of Ingemar Johansson. This Custody Amato. Patterson. I'm going to show you a little Ingemar Johansson and Floyd Patterson. Patterson of Vanamaker. Well, this is Ingemar Johansson. All right, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of the fight between Floyd Patterson and Johansson. This was the fight build-up. Ingemar Johansson and Floyd Patterson. And Floyd Patterson and Ingemar Johansson will go on to fight 3 times. Floyd Patterson knocks out Ingemar Johansson. He starts out with a hook to the body. He comes right up with a hook to the head. Beautiful combination. Knocks out Johansson to the point where his left foot starts to shake. Those are the nerves from his spine. Most likely the S1. And he was out cold. Patterson regained his heavyweight championship after he lost it to Ingemar Johansson. Then they had a third fight. And I showed you the receipts, fight receipts. And he defeated Johansson in the third fight. So you have all is clear for world heavyweight title bout now. And that's when Patterson was going to fight Archie Moore. Oh, I'm sorry, Sonny Liston, excuse me. Liston was the challenger. Floyd Patterson was the champion. Here you have Custody Amato. That fight was scheduled to take place at Comiskey Park. Dan Florio This is Dan Florio to your right, Garcia Amato to the left. It's Patterson and Johansson. So this is Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I just wanted to go over Floyd Patterson's career a little bit because I felt the last time I did it was all chopped up and it was an injustice to him. And out of respect to Floyd Patterson, I just wanted to give you a complete overview of his career. I couldn't show you everything. I have too many things with Floyd Patterson to even think about it. So I just tried to skim through as much as I possibly could. I hope you enjoyed it. Salute to my subscribers. And real quickly, this is Floyd Patterson's opponent, Sonny Liston. And Sonny Liston, as you know the story, would eventually knock out Floyd Patterson twice and become the heavyweight champion of the world. Just wanted to salute to him. I did his profile. Check out Sonny Liston, Scrapbook Boxing, and you can go through his profile.